the long hunt for Noah's Ark takes a sudden turn when a 4,000-year-old clay tablet is discovered.
Lost treasures, ancient secrets, and unsolved mysteries.
What is this thing? Wait, let me remove the dust and the rock pieces off of it.
What happened to the Ark of the Covenant? From hidden relics in castle ruins to the oldest Viking message ever found, history is full of clues, but the truth remains unknown. Starting with a legendary artifact shrouded in mystery, the Ark of the Covenant has fascinated explorers and historians for centuries. Said to hold divine power, it vanished without a trace, leaving behind questions, theories, and a trail of lost history. Where did it go? And does it still exist today? The Ark of the Covenant is one of the greatest mysteries in history. It's a golden chest said to hold the original stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, along with Aaron's rod and a pot of manna. But for centuries, no one has known where it is. Some say looking at it brings disaster, and there are countless theories about its location. But in the 1980s, a man named Ron Wyatt claimed he had actually found it, hidden right under Jerusalem. According to the Bible, the Ark was kept in Solomon's temple, the holiest place for the Israelites. But when the Babylonians attacked Jerusalem over 600 years before Jesus' time, the temple was destroyed, and the Ark vanished. Some believe it was taken to Ethiopia. Others say it was hidden underground. There are even claims that it ended up in places like Egypt, France, Ireland, or even the United States. But Wyatt had a different theory. He believed the Ark was buried in a secret chamber directly beneath the spot where Jesus was crucified. Wyatt wasn't a famous archaeologist. He was an adventurer, determined to uncover biblical history. In 1982, he started digging in Jerusalem. He found ancient tunnels, and as he explored deeper, he discovered what he believed was the very spot where Jesus had been crucified. He even found holes in the rock, which he thought were used for the crosses of Roman executions. But what really shocked him was a crack in the stone, leading straight down beneath the surface. He kept digging, and finally, deep in a hidden cave, he claimed he saw it, the Ark of the Covenant, still covered in gold, just as the Bible described. According to him, this spot wasn't random. He believed that when Jesus died, his blood flowed down through the crack in the rock and landed on the Ark, fulfilling an ancient prophecy. Wyatt's claims were met with a lot of doubt. Scientists, historians, and even religious scholars didn't believe him. But his discoveries fascinated many, and his work still has a following today. Whether the Ark is really there or not, the mystery remains unsolved, and people are still searching for answers. Hidden for centuries, a mysterious treasure chest has been discovered inside the ruins of an old witch's castle. What secrets were locked inside? Gold, spells, or something far stranger? Deep within the ruins of an ancient castle, hidden beneath layers of soil and rock, a long-buried treasure chest was uncovered. The search began with a metal detector guiding the way, signaling that something valuable lay beneath the surface. Digging through the hard, compact ground proved to be a difficult task, with large rocks obstructing the path. But after hours of effort, a small glimmer of light emerged from beneath the soil, revealing the edge of a long-lost chest. As the dirt was carefully cleared away, the chest's full frame came into view. A solid, heavy structure surrounded by rock. The first item to be removed was an aged necklace, estimated to be over 100 years old. As more dirt was brushed away, more golden pieces were uncovered, their weight and brilliance proving their worth. Each discovery added to the mystery. Who had hidden these treasures? And why had they remained buried for so long? The final task was to carefully gather every golden piece from the chest, ensuring that nothing was left behind. With the treasure now revealed, the journey back through the castle's dark ruins began, leaving behind centuries of mystery hidden within its walls. A 150-year-old message in a bottle was unearthed at a Viking burial site in Norway, providing insights into burial practices and archaeological methods of the time. Something incredible just happened in Norway. Archaeologists digging at an old Viking graveyard found something totally unexpected. A message in a bottle from over 150 years ago. This message was left by a man named Anders Lorange back in 1874 when he first explored the site. It had been buried inside the grave of King Audbjörn, a Viking king who was laid to rest with the biggest Viking ship ever found. The bottle was carefully dug out of the ground, and inside there was a letter, 2 old coins, and Lorange's business card. The letter, written in Norwegian, explained what was found in the grave all those years ago. According to Lorange, the mound was built over fallen warriors who had been burned inside their ship, along with their weapons and treasures. He listed what was inside: 26 shield pieces, 2 swords, an axe, many arrows, and other ancient tools. All of these items had been sent to a museum in Bergen, Norway. This discovery is so special because Viking graves like this haven't been opened in Norway for the past 100 years. The reason this one was reopened is that Norway wants to make it a United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organization World Heritage Site, which means it will be officially recognized as an important historical place. But before that could happen, experts needed to study the site again in more detail than they did back in 1874. The discovery of this letter is like a message from the past. It connects today's researchers with the people who first explored these Viking graves. It's rare to find something like this, and it makes the site even more fascinating. Vikings were famous for their seafaring adventures and fierce battles, and now, over 1,000 years later, their history is still being uncovered in surprising ways. And if that wasn't amazing enough, another Viking burial site was just found in Denmark. This one had around 50 skeletons buried together, which is extremely rare. Viking bones usually don't last because the soil in Scandinavia is too acidic, but these skeletons were perfectly preserved. It's an incredible find, showing just how much more there is to learn about the Viking Age. Ancient clues, hidden records, and mysterious discoveries continue to reveal new secrets about Noah's Ark, bringing one of history's greatest legends closer to reality. Noah's Ark is one of the most fascinating stories in history. It's about a man named Noah who built a huge boat to save his family and animals from a massive flood. This story comes from the Bible. But interestingly, similar flood stories existed long before in ancient Mesopotamia. These old stories talk about other heroes, like Utnapishtim from the Epic of Gilgamesh, who also built a boat to survive a flood sent by the gods. The details are different, but the idea is the same: a flood, a boat, and survival. Many people throughout history believe that Noah's Ark was real. Even ancient writers like Flavius Josephus thought the Ark still existed somewhere. For centuries, people have searched for it, hoping to find proof. But despite all these efforts, no one has ever found real evidence of the Ark, and science has never found proof of a global flood. Some researchers think there might have been a smaller, real flood that inspired the story, like a flood in the Persian Gulf or the Black Sea thousands of years ago. The Ark itself is described in detail in the Bible. It was a massive boat, about 134 meters long and 22 meters wide. It had 3 levels, which were possibly designed to represent the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. Some scholars believe the Ark's structure was similar to ancient Jewish temples, meant to be a symbol of protection and survival. It was made of a mysterious wood called gopher wood, which no one can identify today. It was covered in pitch, a waterproof material that also connects to older Babylonian flood stories, where their boats were sealed with similar materials. Ancient Mesopotamian stories tell of similar arks, but with different shapes. Atrahasis, another flood hero, had a round boat, while Utnapishtim's was cube-shaped. Noah's Ark was rectangular, but despite these differences, the sizes of these boats were almost the same, which makes scholars believe these stories are all connected. Even the word for ark in Hebrew is very close to the Babylonian word for boat. Religious traditions add even more layers to the mystery. According to Jewish teachings, Noah spent all his time in the ark feeding and caring for animals. He never slept. The animals didn't breed, and the same number that entered the ark came out. There were even magical glowing stones that provided light. Christian writers later linked the ark to Jesus, saying it was a symbol of salvation. Some even believed Adam's bones were carried on the ark. For centuries, people have searched for the ark, believing it might still be hidden somewhere. But whether real or not, the story continues to captivate people. It's a tale of survival, faith, and mystery, passed down through generations, leaving us wondering, did it really happen? Hoxenhoard was buried in a wooden chest, with some items placed in smaller boxes or wrapped in fabric. The Hoxenhoard is one of the most amazing treasures ever found in Britain. It's a massive collection of gold and silver from the late Roman times, hidden underground for over 1,500 years. It was discovered in 1992 by a man named Eric Lois, who was just looking for his friend's lost hammer with a metal detector. Instead of the hammer, he found something incredible: gold, silver, coins, and jewelry buried in a field in Hoxton, a small village in Suffolk, England. He and his friend Peter Watling didn't try to dig it up themselves. They did the right thing and called the experts, which helped keep everything exactly as it was when it was buried. The next day, a team of archaeologists rushed to the site. They carefully excavated the treasure, making sure not to damage anything. The treasure was packed tightly in a wooden box that had rotted away over time, but the objects inside were mostly still in place. There were coins, 14,865 of them, made of gold, silver, and bronze. There were also about 200 other items, including beautiful jewelry, silver spoons, and even fancy Roman pepper pots. One of the most famous pieces is the Empress Pepper Pot, a tiny silver container shaped like a woman. Another incredible piece is a rare gold body chain. The treasure was buried after the year 407 AD, which was right when Roman rule in Britain was collapsing. No one knows exactly who buried it or why, but it was clearly someone very rich. They must have been afraid and wanted to keep their fortune safe, but for some reason, they never came back for it. Maybe they were forced to leave, or something terrible happened to them. Whatever the reason, the treasure stayed hidden for centuries, waiting to be found. After it was excavated, the treasure was taken to the British Museum. The news spread fast, and the press went crazy. Some newspapers even claimed it was worth £10 million. In the end, the official valuation was £1.75 million, and the money was given to Laws and Watling, who shared it. The discovery was so important that it helped change the laws about finding treasure in England. Even after the main treasure was taken to the museum, archaeologists kept searching the area. They found more coins, some Roman artifacts, and even signs that someone had marked the spot, maybe planning to dig it up later. But they never did. Today, the Hoxenhoard is in the British Museum, where people can see these incredible Roman treasures up close. Unearthed in 1999 in Gotland, Sweden, the Spillingshoard is the world's largest Viking silver treasure, weighing approximately 67 kilograms and containing over 14,000 coins, mostly Islamic. The hoard was stored in chests beneath the floorboards of a Viking outhouse. Let me tell you about an incredible discovery: the Spillingshoard. This is the biggest Viking silver treasure ever found, and the way it was discovered makes it even more fascinating. It happened on a regular Friday in 1999, on a farm in Gotland, Sweden. A TV crew was there filming a piece about looting at historical sites. An archaeologist and a coin expert decided to keep searching the field after the cameras were off, and then their metal detector went wild. Just minutes after the crew left, they found a hidden stash of silver buried deep in the ground. But that was just the beginning. As they kept searching, another strong signal led them to a second silver hoard just a few meters away. The detector even shut itself off because there was so much metal. The site was quickly secured, guards were placed, and news spread fast. Thousands of people rushed to see what was unfolding. Later, another signal led them to a third hidden stash, this time filled with over 20 kilograms of bronze. The archaeologists realized they had found something truly special. The silver hoards were enormous, one weighing 27 kilograms and the other a whopping 40 kilograms. When they tried to x-ray them at the hospital, the silver was so dense that nothing showed up on the images. The archaeologists believe these treasures were hidden under the floor of a Viking outhouse sometime in the 9th century. They found wood, iron pieces, and even an old lock, proving the hoards had been kept inside wooden chests. This spot had likely been a storage building, not a home, since there was no fireplace. Carbon dating showed it had been used between 540 and 1040 AD. Inside the treasure, there were 14,295 coins, most of them Islamic dirhams from faraway lands. There were also silver bars, jewelry, rings, and pieces of broken silver, likely meant for trade. The sheer amount of silver was shocking. It could have covered the taxes for all of Gotland for 5 years. Over half the find was made up of silver bangles, nearly 500 of them, the biggest collection ever found. Some had detailed decorations, while others were simple rings used as money. There were also rare coins, including one from the Khazar kingdom that replaced Muhammad is the messenger of God with Moses is the messenger of God, a rare Jewish inscription. Then there was the bronze hoard. It was a melted mass of broken jewelry, necklaces, pins, and drinking horn mounts. Some think it belonged to a Viking metalworker planning to reuse the metal. Others believe it was loot from a raid. The mystery remains. The Swedish government paid the landowner a record amount for the treasure, but its true value is priceless. Today, the Spillings hoard is displayed in the Gotland Museum, a stunning reminder of the Viking Age and the treasures still waiting to be found. A 2,200-year-old limestone box inscribed with James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus, was discovered, believed to be the ossuary of James the Just. This artifact is considered one of the most significant items from the time of Christ. The James ossuary is one of the most talked about discoveries in biblical archaeology. It's a simple limestone box from the 1st century, used to store bones after a body had decomposed. What makes it special? An inscription carved into its side that says, James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus. If real, this could be the first physical evidence connecting to Jesus himself. That's a big deal. But here's where the mystery starts. Back in 2002, this box was revealed to the world at a press conference. It was announced as an incredible find, maybe the biggest in Christian history. The man who owned it, Oded Golan, was an Israeli collector. A scholar named André Lemaire examined the inscription and declared it was real. He believed the writing style matched the time period, and there were no signs of modern carving tools. The box was even put on display at a museum in Canada. Everything seemed perfect, until doubts crept in. The Israel Antiquities Authority, IAA, looked at the inscription and claimed it was fake. They believed someone had added the words long after the ossuary was made. Golan was charged with forgery and fraud in 2004. The case dragged on for years. Scientists studied the box, trying to figure out if the inscription was as old as the ossuary itself. Some said the patina, the natural aging layer on the surface, was continuous over the letters, meaning they had to be ancient. Others insisted it was a modern addition made to look old. The trial lasted 7 years, and in 2012, Golan was found not guilty of forgery. But that didn't mean the inscription was confirmed as real, just that there wasn't enough proof to call it fake. The debate still isn't settled. Some experts argue that the names James, Joseph, and Jesus were common back then, so even if the inscription is genuine, it doesn't automatically mean this was James, brother of Jesus. Others point out how rare it was to include a brother's name in an ossuary, suggesting that James was important. The box was returned to Golan, and he put it on display again. But even now, the question remains, is this an incredible piece of history, or one of the greatest archaeological hoaxes? Etruscan princesses' treasures. These artifacts date between 300 BC and 100 BC, and were found in a tomb near Città della Pieve. Archaeologists in Italy have uncovered something incredible. a treasure-filled tomb that once belonged to an Etruscan princess from nearly 2,800 years ago. This ancient burial site was hidden underground in Volci, an important Etruscan city. But here's the twist. The tomb was almost lost forever to illegal diggers. Looters had already discovered another tomb just above it, and if they had gone a little further, they would have taken everything. Luckily, archaeologists acted fast and uncovered the chamber just in time. Inside, they found the remains of a young girl wrapped in a delicate cloth, surrounded by precious artifacts. There were beautiful pieces of jewelry, jars, and pots, some from faraway lands. Among the treasures were a Phoenician amber necklace and 2 Egyptian scarabs made of gold, ivory, and silver, rare and valuable items that proved she was someone important. The discovery raised many questions. Who was she? What kind of life did she live? The team is now working to uncover more about her story. The artifacts are being carefully restored and will be on display for visitors soon. The Etruscans were a powerful civilization that lived in Italy long before the Romans. They were skilled traders, sailors, and artists, but much of their history remains a mystery. Volci alone has revealed more than 15,000 tombs over the years, offering glimpses into their lost world. Unfortunately, tomb raiding is a big problem in Italy. Many priceless artifacts have been stolen and smuggled out of the country, worth hundreds of millions of euros. In another case, Italian police recently recovered stolen treasures from an Etruscan tomb in Umbria. Looters had taken urns, sarcophagi, bronze mirrors, perfume jars, and even a comb. The thieves, 2 local businessmen, had posted pictures online trying to sell them. Police tracked them down and arrested them. This was one of the biggest recoveries of Etruscan artifacts ever made. The Etruscans are long gone, but their treasures keep appearing, piece by piece, revealing their world. With every tomb discovered and every stolen artifact recovered, their story slowly comes back to life. Oxus Treasure. This collection of 180 artifacts, dating from the 5th to 4th centuries BC, was found along the Oxus River and includes items such as jewelry, coins, and figurines, providing insight into Achaemenid Persian craftsmanship. The Oxus Treasure is one of the most amazing discoveries from ancient Persia. It is a collection of around 180 gold and silver objects, along with 200 coins from the Achaemenid Empire. It was found near the Oxus River between 1877 and 1880, though the exact location is still uncertain. There were originally many more items, but some were melted down for their metal. The objects date from the 6th to 4th century BC, but the coins are from a wider range, some as late as 200 BC. Experts believe the treasure came from a temple where people left offerings for centuries, but how it ended up buried remains a mystery. This treasure is the best example of Achaemenid metalwork that has survived. The craftsmanship varies. Some gold plaques look simple, as if made by the donors themselves, while other pieces are incredibly detailed, likely meant for the Persian court. The British Museum holds most of the collection today, displaying it in room 52. A few pieces, including one of the famous griffin-headed bracelets, are in other museums. The coins are spread across different collections, making it hard to confirm which ones belong to the treasure. The treasure includes sculptures, jewelry, and ceremonial objects. There are small statues, including one of a young man wearing a tall hat, showing Greek influence. Some hollow gold heads were likely part of larger statues made of wood. There are also miniature chariots made of gold, one with figures inside, and a detailed scabbard with a lion hunting scene. The most stunning pieces are the griffin-headed bracelets, once decorated with colorful stones. Similar bracelets appear in Persian palace carvings, showing they were royal gifts. Other bracelets and rings have designs of animals like lions, ducks, and bulls, some with missing inlays. A gold plaque shaped like a mythical creature may have been a hair ornament or part of a larger decoration. Among the objects are 51 gold plaques with simple carvings, likely left as offerings. Most show people holding ritual twigs, while others depict animals, possibly for prayers related to their health. These objects reveal a lost world of Persian art, beliefs, and royal treasures, making the Oxus Treasure a fascinating link to the past. Discovered in Norfolk, England between 1948 and 1973, The Snettisham hoard comprises numerous Iron Age torches and bracelets made from gold, silver, and bronze, showcasing the artistry of the Iceni tribe. The Snettisham treasure is one of the most fascinating discoveries ever made in Britain. It's a massive collection of gold and silver jewelry from the Iron Age, mostly torches. Beautiful twisted metal necklaces that were worn by powerful people. These treasures were found buried in the ground in Norfolk, England, between 1948 and 1990. Some of them were hidden so carefully that it seemed like whoever buried them didn't want anyone to find them easily. But why were they buried in the first place? And who did they belong to? That's the big mystery. It all started in 1948 when a farmer plowing his field hit something hard. At first, people thought it was just an old brass bed. Can you believe that? A chunk of solid gold mistaken for a bed. But when experts looked at it, they realized it was actually a torque, a stunning gold necklace from thousands of years ago. Over the years, more and more pieces turned up. Every time the field was plowed, there was a chance of finding more treasure. Then, in 1990, a man with a metal detector made a huge discovery. He dug into the earth and uncovered a pile of twisted metal packed inside a bronze container. When archaeologists came to investigate, they found even more hidden treasures. Some were buried in double pits, one on top of the other, almost like a trick to keep looters away. The most valuable torques were always placed carefully at the bottom. It seemed like these treasures had been buried for a reason, maybe as an offering to the gods, maybe for safekeeping, or maybe as part of some ancient ritual we still don't understand. In total, over 175 torques were found, along with coins and bars of gold and silver. The biggest and most stunning piece is called the Great Torque. It's now in the British Museum, and it's so beautifully made that experts think it might have belonged to a king or queen of the Iceni, the same tribe as the famous warrior queen Boudica. But the discoveries didn't stop with the jewelry. In 1991, archaeologists found something else: huge amounts of iron slag, the waste left from making metal. This suggests there was once a big metalworking site nearby, maybe even a sacred place where goldsmiths created these incredible torches. What really happened there? That's still a mystery. But one thing is certain: the Snettisham treasure is one of the greatest finds in history. The search for the lost Ark of the Covenant and other hidden treasures continues to fuel the imagination of archaeologists and historians alike. While some discoveries bring us closer to the truth, the ultimate fate of the Ark remains one of history's greatest mysteries, waiting for the right moment to be revealed.